I'm reading this Project Veritas story too, and it seems like they got booted for what Twitter says is sharing personal information because they accosted the VP of Facebook and showed their house. What about Roger Stone? When CNN put up images of his house and the FBI raiding his personal home, like, what about that? How come that's okay?
It's not okay for me anyway, but it's the narrative. You know, they're like, well, we need this narrative told. So let's vilify Roger Stone and anyone that's associated with Trump because they're evil, and we need to drill it into all of our supporters that they're evil and that we're the virtuous side. So to be with us, you're virtuous, and it's virtuous to be a fascist. I mean, and for a lack of better words, that's essentially what they're training their whole populace, the people that identify with the left, the far left. I got to say far left or Democrats, because it's not everyone on the left, you know, but it's these people that are screeching the loudest, you know, like, this person's doing this. It's like they're being trained to, you know, tattletale on their neighbors. And that is exactly what Gina got canceled for calling it out. Hey, they're turning people into fascists. Like, that's what happened in Germany, because they got people to turn on each other. You know, this person's housing Jews in their house. You know, it's like, that's their neighbors. Then she wasn't even saying it was happening. She says, look, this is how it happened before. Let's learn from history.
Right.
It's like, oh, she's right. She's not wrong there.
And you know, the baffling thing too about this, Adam, is so I secretly still have ways that I am on Twitter, and I saw that post.
Nice.
And I had bookmarked it because I was like, you know, this is a really great point. I have a Telegram channel where I just kind of like to keep things so that way I can go back and reference them. So I had bookmarked it so I could screenshot it and post it in my Telegram later. Yeah. And I was like, well, which post did Gina get censored for? What did she say? And I was scrolling through my bookmarks today, and I realized it was that post where she was basically talking about how, yes, the Nazis, it wasn't necessarily, you know, just the Nazis themselves that were going and rounding up the Jews, but it was how they got everyone in Germany to hate Jews. So it was neighbor turning on neighbor. And Gina basically came forward and posed the question of, how is that any different from what we're seeing today in our political climate? Or how is that any different from how, hating someone for their political views? And so it was pretty crazy because, yeah, that's the exact post right there. I had saved it, not even realizing that this was the post that she got back up, censored for.
This is it right here. I'm just going to read it here. It says, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? I mean, and she this is just her. It's a TikTok, I guess, you know, so she just passed it along. But, you know, if you really look at what that she's saying there, it's like Trump supporters are being vilified. People are being trained to hate Trump supporters. If you voted for, like, the person's neighbor, they did something nice for her, and she was like, well, man, I'm having these feelings because they're Nazis. It's like, do you even understand what the term Nazi is? They don't even recognize it anymore. It's just this blanket term for anyone they don't like that doesn't fit their narrative. That's it. It's like, it's not the same.
And that's
at all.
The frustrating part about this too, is that we've watered down the Holocaust, actual Nazism, actual fascism with our use of language today. By calling everyone a Nazi, we really have taken away from the reality of what the Holocaust was, who Hitler was, because the media, because the liberals have called Trump Hitler for so long. You know, was Trump putting people in concentration camps? Were we getting executed in the streets? Were we afraid to practice our religion because of the country that we lived in, because of who was in power? No, none of that was happening. If anything, I feel like people are feeling that under Joe Biden, to be quite honest with you.
Absolutely.
And so it's ridiculous. And we are really watering down the powerful history behind, again, Nazism, Hitler, just any of these dictators, because the left just throws these words around, and it's actually very, very detrimental.
Yep, exactly. Well, I'm gonna paint a picture for everybody. So this kind of sums it up well. Conservatives are outraged by Gina Carano firing, urge people to cancel Disney Plus. So that's where we're at now. They're and you know, this is what's funny too, is now they're saying, oh well, you know, you're now calling for cancel culture. It's like, no. You know, voting with your money. That's the real power.
With your
You know, it's
dollar.
like
Exactly.
Gina got fired. She got canceled.
Mhm.
So canceling your Disney Plus. I only have Disney Plus. I have it. I have it to watch Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And Mandalorian is awesome. And Gina was awesome in Mandalorian. And
Adam, she was one of my favorite parts of the show. I literally just
she's
like messed
awesome.
up my hair. That's how upset I am about this. She was one of the best parts of the show. She's was
awesome.
Exactly. And then too, you know, it's so rare in Hollywood to find an actor, an actress, or an actor who will actually voice their own opinion and has a personality. And that's exactly what Gina had. But what did Hollywood have to do? They had to destroy that immediately because freedom of thought is a no-no in that atmosphere.
It's even worse. Look, it started long ago. All right. I've been watching it for a little while.
A long time ago.
I have a few things here. This is one of her tweets. Let me see if I can just open it up. So this is from her. So she says here, we need to clean up the election process so we are not left feeling the way we do today. Put laws in place that protect us against voter fraud. Investigate every state. Film the counting. Flush out the fake votes. Require ID. Make voter fraud end in 2020. Fix the system. They freaked out at this. They flipped out because they're like, whoa, she's a conspiracy theorist. She believes in voter fraud. It's like, okay, well, but there was fraud. Like we saw it. Can you stop with that? They admitted that they were changing the rules at, you know, fixing it.
Election laws.
Fortifying it is how they put it. They were fortifying the election. It's like, okay, no, you weren't. That's rigging the election. You're convincing. This is the same thing. They're convincing their party, the people that follow them, that it was justified. I've been saying this for months. They are morally justified because how evil that they've convinced everybody, even themselves, how evil Trump is. They've made him this villain, this ultimate. They put him on the same level as Hitler. Hitler killed millions of people. He killed millions of people.
That's the most frustrating part about this is that we as a society, again, too, we're so spoiled and we're living in such comfort that we can call somebody Hitler. We can call somebody a dictator and a fascist without even knowing what it is. If we were truly living under a dictator, if Trump truly was a fascist, they would not even be allowed to say that. And it's so frustrating to see my own generation and the upcoming generation try to welcome in socialism and think that it's a great thing, not knowing what they're really welcoming in. It's like this $15 minimum wage that Joe Biden's been trying to pass. You know, everyone's like, oh yeah, $15 minimum wage, like everyone's going to be lifted out of poverty. Well, let's also forget and just completely ignore the fact that 1.4 million jobs are going to be sacrificed in the process, because that's how leftism works. And that's how all of these progressive policies work. They show you the one tiny little like, oh yeah, like just look at this. Meanwhile, we're going to distract you from the bigger picture that is the entire destruction of America and our economy.
Small businesses can't afford that.
It's fine.
They can't afford $15 an hour. $15 an hour is going to destroy small businesses.
Gosh,
it's ridiculous.
I mean, who would have ever thought that Joe Biden, you know, would really create an economy that would be great for big corporations and not for small businesses and Americans? I'm honestly baffled.
I thought so. I knew that was going to happen.
Who knew?
I saw that coming.
Not Joe Biden's voters, that's for damn sure.
Yo, Gina is based. Yo, look at this. Look at this. This is hilarious. I mean, and so true. She's a troll too. She's trolling these people. Breaking news. Democratic government leaders now recommends we wear blindfolds along with masks so we can't see what's really going on. Man, Gina she's a master troll. She's trolling these people. So this is in November. All these tweets were the start of it all. In a world where everyone wears a mask, it's a privilege to see a soul. Look, I love it. Kevin Sorbo coming in hot. Gina, Hercules has your back. Yes. Sorry, I love Kevin Sorbo. And Gina, I mean, when I found out she followed me, I kind of freaked out a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, she follows me.
You. That's amazing.
Isn't that dope?
Right,
I know.
Okay, Adam, you peaked in life.
I have peaked in life. No, I need Kevin Sorbo to follow me now, and that would be fantastic.
Kevin, where you at?
Where you at, Kevin? He's also based, man. He calls these people out too. It's awesome to know that one of my, like, because I grew up watching Hercules as a kid. So this was like a childhood, like, man, Hercules. It was such a great show. And he's certainly based nowadays. It's pretty great. So, but yeah, I mean, it started long ago, and it's because she was on a popular show that everyone was watching, speaking out against this narrative that they don't like people speaking out of. Like, I can't believe, honestly, how am I still on Twitter? How am I still on Twitter? You know, you said I've peaked because she follows me, but I mean, I'm not really anyone in the scheme of things. You know, how am I still on this platform that they clearly don't like people talking about the things that I talk about? I talk about that there was election fraud. I believe it. I've showed the evidence on my show multiple times. I post it constantly on
Adam,
Twitter.
can I just jump in too and say the fact that you're one of the very few YouTubers who will say voter fraud on your channel, I respect you so much, because there are so many people in this atmosphere, even in the conservative side, who are afraid to even say voter fraud because they don't want to get banned off of social media. And I understand that. I understand not wanting to lose your voice. But in the same token, if we're self-censoring and we're giving into the language that they want us to speak in, we're essentially not speaking truth at this point. So I just had to commend you on that one, because I really rarely hear YouTubers say voter fraud. And I love that. I really do.
Well, it's only a matter of time before they cut me off. And, you know, I am not one to cater to other people. You know, I am very unapologetically me, and I don't plan on changing anytime soon. I saw what I saw. I know I've seen it. There's video evidence. Multiple video evidence of stuff happening. They came out and admitted it in that Time magazine article about how it's the shadow cabal that straight up is admitting and wants credit for it. They're like, oh, no, we did it. It was us. Aren't you proud of us? Like, we defeated fascism by altering the election and fortifying the election
and brainwashing the masses, of course. So technically the masses did make their own decision, but it was after millions of dollars of propaganda and us telling them what to do.
Yep, exactly. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to find this. I have this one,
Adam, too. And while you're looking for that, the moment I knew Gina was based was when she posted Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. She posted a meme about it, and this was right when The Mandalorian was coming out, and I was like scrolling through her page, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this girl's getting canceled in the next couple of years, but she's gonna thrive in the conservative space. She really is.
She is. She actually just recently tweeted that out. I think like yesterday. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up her.
Yeah, she's the best. I love it. And again, too, it's so refreshing just to have some. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is it. This is one of them.
This was 2 days ago. No, this was yesterday. She posted this.
Okay, I was staring at this for a good 2 minutes, and I was like, Applebee's.
Applebee's?
Oh, Epstein didn't care. Yeah, because I was.
Where is Applebee's?
So
Applebee?
Applebee. I don't know. I'm always thinking about food. What can I say?
You know what I found really funny though? Look at this. Where is it? Where is he? He's in here somewhere. I know it is here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This one made me laugh. Carano got some praise from conservative political commentator Tim Pool, who tweeted, Gina Carano is awesome. Conservative? He's offended. I'm sorry. No. How is he conservative? You know, it's all about the narrative, right?
On YouTube. He's so neutral. Like, that's it. This is
Come on.
Yeah, like left and right, and then Tim's like right in the middle. Like, here's the fact.
He's like, don't touch me over there. No, don't touch me. I'm in the middle.
Nobody claim me.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so funny, and they just keep they're like pulling it all out. Well, far right social media personality Mike Cernovich showed his support and condemnation of cancel culture, tweeting the blacklisting of Gina Carano is proof that the left views anyone who dissents as people who must be destroyed. I mean, actually, he's right. I believe that.
I see no lies here. I see no lies.
No lies detected. Don't live in denial or pretend otherwise. Stop trying to be friends or debate them. They want you in gulags. And then, of course, start swearing a little bit. But, I mean, what do you think? You think they want to put us in gulags and re-education centers?
I mean, to be quite honest with you, Adam, you know that politics is my life and I follow it every single day. And we have seen CNN, MSNBC, Joy Reid come forward and literally say that we need to re-educate Trump supporters and Trump supporters' children because they're brainwashed, because we think in white supremacist ways and we're Nazis. And so when people say that, you know, the left wants Trump supporters in gulags, it sounds dramatic, but if you actually have been following what's been going on in politics, the rhetoric from the media, the rhetoric from the left every single day. I mean, look what they did to Trump. They even went so far as to cancel the bank accounts that he was with. He couldn't even have the Trump store up because what was it, like Shopify canceled his account. Like, sorry, you just can't bank with us. Mike Lindell can't even sell a pillow at Kohl's. What?
That's ridiculous too.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And you know, we're going to talk about this in a little while. Project Veritas, they called it out too. Like they were blowing up the spot all across the board. Like nobody is safe for Project Veritas. And of course they've got banned off the platform. But I mean, what did they report on? There was an undercover video that James O'Keefe just shared just before they went. I don't think that this is the reason they got banned, but the guy was basically saying, well, you know, gulags, they're not as bad as how the media makes them seem. They're more re-education camps. Like you get a full-time job, but let these people work a 12-hour job breaking rocks and let them know what it's like. And it's like, what? The conservatives are the ones that are out working. They're the ones that actually do the work, that are hard workers. Like these people on the far left they're not the ones doing hard work. What are you talking about? But they're like, yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, there's conjugal visits too. It's like, wow, they really want these people to be going to these re-education camps, thinking that there's something wrong with their brains. Like I myself, I've had people that I've known for years and 10 years or more go, I miss the old Adam. What? I haven't changed at all. Like I am literally the same exact person. I still got my wit. I still am super sarcastic to my friends. I'm literally the same person. The only difference is I'm paying attention to politics.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the real truth of what's going on out there. I'm paying attention and I'm cross-referencing and I'm checking my facts and what the facts that they're giving me. And I'm like, I'm going to go, I'll be right back. And I'll check that for myself. And I'm finding out it's lies. So then I'm like, all right, now I've become more knowledgeable about the political landscape. I know for a fact these people are not political. I've become political. Like I know a lot more now than I did 1 year ago when I started in this political landscape. I wasn't even supposed to be political, but here I am.
And that's it's a blessing and a curse to be in the know, because when you are talking to your friends who aren't politically aware of what's going on and they come forward and say that Trump was keeping kids in cages and he's a white supremacist who called all Mexicans rapists. Gosh. It's like, as a Hispanic person, it's so frustrating to, immediately even have to defend that, because why are we still pushing these lies? Why are we still allowing this to prosper? Why is it that Joe Biden was able to, during his run for president, campaign on the lie that Trump said that there was good people on both sides in Charlottesville? That's one of the most well-known, most debunked lies ever. But it's Joe Biden was able to run on that. And we have to go to these people and it looks like we're defending this, but in reality, it's like, no, you've been so brainwashed by the media, and the media has spun this and fed you this completely false narrative, so far detached from what's really going on in reality that it's hard to even argue at that point, because if you're even pushing back against the narrative, they think that you're trying to defend white supremacy and Nazism at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. And again, it's because he's on the left. He can say whatever he wants because they will blindly believe it. And whenever a conservative goes, actually, that's not the truth, you're evil and we don't have to even hear what you're saying, and it's apparent with this Gina thing. Like, all right, I'm going to bring up, this is why I wanted to bring this up, because this is showing the hypocrisy of what we're seeing on the other side. First and foremost, newly announced Star Wars, the High Republic host, Christina Ariel, calls all white people racist.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up.
So you know about this. Like,
Yes, I remember this trending a couple of weeks ago because Jack Posobiec called her out on it and pulled up her old tweets about how racist she was being towards white people. But remember, Adam, in the society that we live in today, if
yep.
you're demonizing white people and being racist towards white people, it's not really racism.
Yeah, it's not racism. It's like, look, anything is racist. Someone in my chat yesterday said, they were saying something about, well, how can you not be proud of your white ancestors? And I'm like, that's so weird. I don't think about my white ancestors. I think about maybe the ancestors that started a Krigler coffee or whiskey company 100 and some years ago. I didn't know them, but I thought that's cool. From like my direct ancestors. And it's like, but as soon as you start putting race into it, that's my identity. And I'm like, I don't identify as a white person. Like that doesn't enter my equation, period, ever. It doesn't. I don't think about that. I work about my YouTube show. I'm a musician. I'm a skateboarder. I'm a teacher. I'm an entrepreneur. That's the kind of things that I identify as. So like identifying as a race, like it just feels like it's taking away from the things that you could be, and literally apply that anywhere.
And that's the frustrating part too, is that we used to be a country where based on your work ethic, that's how you would be successful, how hard you were willing to work, what you were willing to do. And I feel like it's still very true today. But now if you even go on YouTube, so I just discovered for the first time, like the explore option on YouTube. Okay. And there's a lot of really cool videos, but I had to scroll through 50 videos of Black History Month and how Black people have the hardest lives ever and systemic racism and how white people are bad. I had to scroll through all of this, again, racially divisive propaganda before I could even get to the videos that I was trying to find about Macbeth and Shakespeare and, the classical literature that I should have been reading. So everything nowadays is so divisive. And instead of putting merit into hard work and what people do for society and what they can contribute, it's now all about your race. It's now all about your gender or lack thereof. So it's very sad to see where we've gotten to. And we as a society are taking 10 steps back because people don't even realize that we are segregating ourselves at this point.
Yes, exactly. And people are willingly becoming segregated. They want it. They're like, yeah, I want to be segregated. I want to be different from you because you are different from me. And I'm like, what is this craziness?
But why though?
We fought for that. Someone in chat just said, well, you don't have to deal with it because you have white privilege. No. I have privilege. Was privileged in my life to have the life that I've had. And I know people of all different races that have privilege to have the life that they've led.
Honestly, Adam, and that's the thing, like, if you were born in America, point blank, you are privileged. Okay. Period. That's it. If you're an American, you're privileged. It doesn't matter if you're Black, white, or Asian. You are privileged to live in this country, the country where you're still granted the most amounts of freedom than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
That's slowly going down now because we have been giving that away. But as an American, we are all privileged. And I'm so tired of people saying that there's this glass ceiling for women, that if you're a Black or Hispanic person, you can't make it. Guess what, Adam? I work just as hard as you, which is why we're both here today on the same platform, equally speaking, because we both put the time and work into it.